Hello and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be playing the Mutant and learning how to play him. And for his character traits, you can see they're super simple. We have negative 66% XP required to level up and plus 50 items prize. So the item I like to go on the Mutant is the Ghost Axe. I think this is the strongest weapon out of this selection. Of course, as per usual, you can play anything you want, but I do enjoy playing the Ghost Axe. It feels the strongest, and it makes the game a lot easier to play. And you might be wondering, oh, why the Ghost Axe, right? Well, since you do level up a lot less, that means that your biggest, or sorry, items cost a lot less. That means that your biggest weakness is the inability to buy sort of upgrades in, lots of stats. So what you can do is offset that by getting a strong weapon that innately scales, right? In this case, we're going to go for melee damage, and we do not want these. We want more damage. Base damage is the best by far. Crit chance is also quite nice, and max HP. We'll actually just go ahead and take some crit chance and some armor. And the thing is, since your weapons, in this case the Ghost Axe, do have infinite damage scaling, you do want to keep minimal amount of weapons in your inventory. And that might sound a little strange. Also, we are actually going to take a scar here, as weird as that looks, and then we're going to reroll and lock both of these. These are the exact two weapons we want. So this is the first time I've introduced this. Generally, I only play with one weapon, the starting weapon, and I show you guys how to win with only the starting weapon. In this case though, you want to find a ghost flint and have both of them. The ghost axe increases your damage percent for every 20 kills permanently, and the ghost flint increases attack speed for every kills. So both of these work together to give you infinitely stacking attack speed and damage percent, which means all you have to do is get armor, max health, and a little bit of melee damage. Okay? And once you get these, you will be virtually invincible. So I will say though, the earlier waves you need to have very good movement. You cannot be getting hit unnecessarily. So that can punish you really hard if you do get hit. And you can see here, I'm just cutting through the enemies, trying to cleave as many as possible to stack up our axe. And then here, we do not want range. A bit of luck could be okay. We're just going to take some armor and then going to take some crit chance. Okay, and here we're going to buy the ghost axe, and you know what we're going to do? Combine them. This might look insane, and it is a little bit insane, but I think this is a very safe thing to do regardless. Also, I'm going to reroll, walk another ghost axe here, and keep going. And yeah, this might look insane, like, oh my god, why are you combining your weapons? Well, if you have multiple ethereal weapons, like this ethereal axe, what happens is each one of them stacks individually. So this one can give me, if I have two axes, they both have to get 20 kills each time to give me the stat bonus. But if I only have one weapon, I can only stack that one weapon, right? Of course, that does mean, it's a little bit awkward when I don't have any attacks and I'm just waiting for my axe to come back. But I think it's completely safe. In this case, we're going to take this legs and more armor. So more armor also makes it so it's a lot safer to take some weapons here. We're going to go ahead and buy them both and reroll 2 times, 3 times. Okay, we didn't find any other ethereal weapons. That is okay. You can see here we lost some armor because we gain dodge in exchange for armor. This weapon set is probably the weakest thing about the ethereal weapons, and also the fact that they do take quite a bit of time to scale since they do only give you percentage stats, right? Attack percent or attack speed percent and damage percent. So you do need melee damage to scale them properly. And then you also need to get armor so you don't get one shot for having lost a ton of armor just from having these weapons equipped. I do really enjoy playing the mutant though. I enjoy characters like this who have sort of interesting character traits that like give you scaling options that are different from most other characters. Oh, this is also a really interesting choice. Um, Normally, I would never take dodge percent early on, but since we're playing with ethereal weapons, it's pretty high value. And I would just go and take it. Because once we have 6 weapons, we'll be at 39% dodge from having taken that upgrade. Here we could take some luck, and I will recommend taking luck early on if you find it. The reason for that is that you level up a ton, which also means you see a lot of upgrades, and having luck means you can find those higher tier upgrades more easily. We do not want lumberjack shirt, we want more weapons. We're just going to roll here, roll one more time, and then continue moving on. Okay, you really want more weapons because you cannot afford to buy too many things. So anything you do buy needs to be of high value. That's why I have the claw tree locked. Of course, weapons are really important. Also, I just got an achievement. I think that's a new one because I had every achievement in the game up until the update recently. I assume I just unlocked one of the new characters, which is going to be what I play at the end of the series. I didn't expect that, but I'm not going to showcase these characters until later. Because I do want to play 1 or 2 runs on each of them to see what I think is the best strategy for them before I share them with you guys. Be a little careful here, weaving through the enemies over and over. And this is incredible, right? We could take more dodge, but in this case we want to take some crit chance. Crit chance is very nice. And here, on the other hand, we don't want to take attack speed. More crit chance though. Yes, that's perfect. Then get the ghost axe and combine it, okay? I always combine them. I like to keep 4 weapons in my inventory at most if possible, though I will take more if I have to. And here I would like to take the claw tree, but taking the luck now means that we get to use it, right? During the next shop and during the next time we look for a upgrade. Next time we level up, right? And we see we level up a ton when you're playing Mutant. We're already level 11. We're about to level right here to level 12. That also means you get a ton of free max HP. Don't forget that, right? When you level up, you get max HP. That is why armor is so valuable. Because armor is valuable regardless if you have a lot of max HP. It's even more valuable when you know you're losing a lot of armor to begin with. So you need to negate that negative effect from the ethereal class set. Ethereal weapon set, yeah. Okay, we need to be a little bit careful here. We took a bit of damage, and that's just because our weapons, right? We only have 3 weapons, so it's a little hard to hit multiple enemies non-stop. This is interesting. So melee damage, I actually unironically think is better than speed here. I really am tempted to, instinctively, but I do believe melee damage is just better. You definitely want that melee damage. And we don't need damage percent. We really want other damage stats, like melee damage or some other things. But in this case, I'm going to take armor. Armor is one of the other very important stats, right? The most important defensive stat, at least. And then here we finally got a tier 2 ghost flint, and we got another ghost axe, which I don't actually want to buy quite yet, because I want to find another ghost flint, just like this. And this way we can have 2 of each weapon, so they will all be stacking mostly evenly. The ghost axe does do more damage than the ghost flint by a lot, but that's okay. You will end up stacking them consistently, as you can see here, plus 16 damage percent on this one, plus 7% on this one. So they are stacking very consistently. Another thing you could do is buy ghost scepters. Some people I've seen play enjoy buying 2 of these, so you have 2 of each weapon. This would also help you stack max HP, but in my opinion, you don't need that. Max HP you can easily get from your upgrades. Since you do level up so much, you end up finding a ton of max HP upgrades which you can take. All you need is a little bit of luck stat, and then finding those higher tier max HP upgrades makes you a lot tankier. I mentioned this quite a few times, but I think on most characters, on melee characters, I'd say if you have around 60 max HP and 6 armor, you are pretty much just, you might as well just be invulnerable at that point. As long as you're not purposefully running into enemies, you can take quite a few hits without being scared. You can see we struggle to kill these bigger enemies. That's because we don't have quite enough damage percent from our weapons yet. We also just ran into a huge clump of enemies because I'm trying to get as many kills as possible. So I'm sort of dropping some HP in order to get better angles to hit the enemies. We do not need this, and as I was saying, we can easily find max HP upgrades, which make us way tankier, and then we can focus on getting more crit chance. Go ahead and buy all of these, and then reroll. Okay, crit chance again, and melee damage. I always say that knockback, I don't think it's a great stat. I actually don't like having too much, but in this case, it gives melee damage, which is the most important damage stat for us. Since we already scaled damage percent and attack percent just passively. Oh my goodness, I almost clicked recycle. I just scared myself. I almost double clicked and clicked the recycle button. I would have gotten rid of my weapon. Yeah, okay. Peaceful wave. This wave is where we get all the bruisers charging at us. Just bruisers, baby aliens, and spitters. I'd say these horned bruisers are the biggest threat here. The other one is probably the spitters, because those projectiles can really cut off your pathing or make you run into something if you're not careful. Just run through the middle, force all the enemies to charge, clear out all the small enemies, and then avoid getting hit by all the charges. Walk up a bit. We're getting near the end of the wave, and we made it perfectly fine. Okay, recycle this. We don't need these stats, right? Melee damage. So this is melee damage and crit chance. We will take the melee damage because we do want more of it. And then we'll also take luck in this case, because we do not have quite enough luck. More luck would be very welcome. Also, I would like to take the peacock. Interestingly, we have so much XP, right? XP required to level is reduced. More XP gain just makes it so we level up even more quickly than we already are. Another ghost flint. And what I'm actually going to do is merge it. I think we only need full weapons when we get closer to the bosses. Wave 9 is super safe, so having a merged weapon means we can upgrade it more quickly. Rather than splitting the kills between 6 weapons, we're splitting it between 5. And you also have to keep in mind, when you merge the weapon, the amount of kills you need to get the stat bonus gets reduced by 2 kills. So now this ghost flint will end up upgrading more quickly and more easily. Okay, but only if I don't kill myself before then. Right, I keep taking a lot of unnecessary damage. This wave is really good for the mutant though, I will say. If you make it to this wave, I think you've probably already won your run. Once you're at wave 9, you just get a ton of free stats here. And you're at, I'd say, 0 risk of dying, realistically. So, yeah, once you make it here, you get all these free stats, you're super happy. And yeah, run becomes a lot easier from here. And yeah, we'll definitely take a blood leech. Harvesting is not really important. And more melee damage, okay? See, if you see some melee damage, you should probably be taking it. I could take this, otherwise we're going to lose materials at the end of each wave. I don't think it's a big deal, to be honest. I'd rather get more damage or crit chance like this. We get a peacock here. I would have liked to have the peacock last wave, because we were against a horde, so there was a ton of enemies. But you know, it is what it is. We couldn't actually buy it last round. Black belt is very nice, right? XP gain, melee damage, and knockback. Knockback is, you know, it's whatever. But I'd say the melee damage and XP gain are definitely worth buying this item. And in this case, we're not going to see a horde yet. So we're actually going to keep 6 items. However, next round, before the horde, we are going to merge our axe. We want to have less weapons when we're going against a ton of small enemies, because they are easy to kill regardless, and it just means we get to stack up our stats much more quickly. You can see our damage is already doing very well. We're critting for 100 on some of our weapons, and 82 on another, 118 on this one. Right, you can see our critical damage is really high, and that's why I said, you know, taking crit chance and melee damage are pretty much all you need on this character. Your damage percent and attack speed both scale passively with your weapons. As long as you stay alive, you will become a monster by the time you get to the later waves. My positioning here is not great, but I'm trying to force the enemies to clump a bit so I can clear them out all at once. Avoiding the bruisers, of course. Run through the center. I almost killed myself, but I thought I'd be safe enough. Luckily, I was correct. Here I will be taking more crit chance. Oh, and some lifesteal. Okay, we finally got a little bit of tank stats, and we definitely will take this armor. Because as you saw, we were a little bit in danger of dying there. And that's just because we haven't been taking too many tank stats. We definitely want to get rid of that weakness of ours. Unfortunately, I just bought a tier 1 Ghost Flint. So this next wave, we are going to be splitting some stacks onto this. Unfortunately, that is okay though. We are going to buy a lure and also a repost. Oh, by the way, I had the peacock last round. That's the only reason I almost died. I kind of forgot about it. Otherwise, I never would have been close to dying, I believe, in that situation. So yeah, we will save repost. This item is not really used for its actual effect on 99% of characters because you don't want to force yourself to dodge generally. You just want to have the melee damage, right? Plus 2 melee damage is very good for our character, so it's absolutely worth buying. And we are stacking up dodge, so it's not like having the repost passive is a bad thing. And you can see here we're against a horde, right? When we're against a horde, we get a ton of stacks. We're getting so many stacks from these monsters. Just make sure you don't accidentally walk into the pursuers. They can do a surprising amount of damage if you do walk into them. So just don't walk directly into enemies. You can keep a close distance like I am. This isn't something I can necessarily teach, but you will get used to the range on weapons as long as you play enough. I think even after, some people maybe take a little longer than others to learn, but you know, everyone can learn, right? Just take your time, go at your own pace. We found a scar here, we're definitely going to take that. Another blood leech we're happy to take. And in this case, I will take luck. Okay, yeah, we want more luck. We're kind of lacking a little on it. And crit chance, okay. So we're really happy, right? We're at 61% crit chance. We're getting close to that sort of mythical 100% crit. In this case, we're going to take more max health and then buy the repost so we can get that 2+2 melee damage. Even though we don't necessarily need the passive here, it's okay. +2 melee damage is actually worth it, right? When you have 79% damage and 38% attack speed. Another boxing glove. Our knockback is getting a bit high, which I'm not super big fan of, but you know, it's still worth it for the melee damage, so I will be taking it. And of course, more ghost axes and more ghost flints. Okay, the bag could also be fine. But I'm gonna go ahead and skip it. I think it's not super great on Mutant. These sort of like economy or material gaining items are not great on Mutant. You can't really take advantage of materials that well since your items cost so much more than other characters. Also, we just want to be careful here with the bruisers, don't let them charge into you. They're very easy to dodge. They turn red, just move down or up. You know, if you stand still as well, when bruisers are not charging, like this for example, then you can move out of the way, because you know they will charge to where you were standing. And we were only dealing about 100 at most a few waves ago. Now we are dealing 170 as our key cap, and it just increased again, 172. You can see the damage actively getting higher, because damage sort of exponentially increases, right? As the waves get longer and longer. Okay, we don't need honey at all, right? We don't need any of these stats. Go ahead and move on. Damage percent we don't need. Armor we could take, but I'd like to see some more crit chance. Yes, exactly. And armor. Tier 3 armor we will definitely take. More melee damage. Over here, more melee damage. And more XP gain. We will actually reroll one time. Okay. And you know what? We'll buy the Ugly Tooth. I think the Ugly Tooth is still worth it. That speed slowing passive on it is just really helpful when it comes to clearing out tankier enemies. This wave is not really dangerous, but it is still good to be cautious, right? So you want to make sure you're clearing out those tentacles so they don't cut off your paths, and then go for the go for the spitters so they don't keep shooting projectiles at you endlessly. Otherwise, the other enemies are not really dangerous, aside from maybe these chargers, or sorry, bruisers. You can see we have some bruisers here charging at us. So mainly focus on the spitters and the bruisers, and you should be safe. Okay, we're almost done with the wave. Just 5 more seconds. We haven't really taken any damage. Nice little safe. Wave 13. Easy. And dangerous bunny. Sure, we'll take that. It's only worth 30 materials, so it's definitely going to give us more than that. Here, we'll actually take HP regen, because you can see we have a lot of both of these. We might as well stack them up more, make our run even safer. And then get some crit chance again. 75% crit. We're sitting at 78 on the axe and 78 on the flint. So we just need to get to 97% crit chance to cap out. We'll go ahead and buy this. Oh, wait, we actually can't. Oh no. So this is one small issue. We're going to go ahead and combine these two. This is one small issue. When you have two separate weapons, it becomes a lot harder, a lot more difficult to fit them in your inventory. And then, yeah, defective steroids, really good item, of course, because we get free attack speed from our weapons. So losing attack speed is not a big deal. Trading attack speed for melee damage is huge, because that 2 melee damage scales on all our weapons. And we have so much damage percent, you can see we're nearly dealing 300 damage with that tier 4 axe at this point. Let's see how high we can get it by the end of the run. I don't think we'll reach 1,000, but you know, maybe if you want to, you could take a guess and say how much you think we'll be dealing at the end of the run as our max damage. Currently it's 270, where is it? 282 is our max damage right now. This wave is so nice. So many enemies to hit. Right, we're getting a ton of XP here. Leveled up a ton of times, right? So many. I don't even know how many times we leveled up. But leveling up this quickly when you're level 32 already is a bit ridiculous. I'm just going to run through the enemies now to clear as many as possible before the wave ends. Tardigrade. Okay, we definitely don't want this, right? We are planning on getting hit at least a couple times. Oh, max HP. I should probably reroll for crit chance. Yes, okay, I was about to say. Definitely should be rerolling for more crit chance. And range. Range is actually quite good. Our range is really cut off. We were in the negatives a second ago. And then some more dodge instead of lifesteal in this case. We want to get that dodge cap at 60%. And then buy our 2 items here and reroll. See what we can find. Nothing here. Oh, okay. Silver bullet is great, right? And we'll actually go ahead and lock both of these, because this can give us 2 loot aliens on the next wave after we buy it. Plus the HP regen is quite good, since we already have a lot of HP regen and lifesteal. HP regen and lifesteal are interesting, because they're stats that sort of get much better the more you have of them. Like if you have 30 HP regen, it is kind of ridiculous compared to 15 HP regen. Same thing for lifesteal. 10 to 30 is a big difference, very massive difference. Want to be careful here with the spitters shooting projectiles at us. Make sure we move out of the way. We're not getting hit by those. I'd say generally it's better to get hit by a small alien, small monster, than to get hit by a projectile. But you should be able to dodge everything fairly easily. And I don't mean dodge as in our passive ability to dodge. Go to move out of the way, right? Run through the enemies. At the end of the wave for full HP, you can kind of run through the enemies to clear out more of them. We don't need these, right? Oh, dodge. Okay, we're pretty much at max dodge at this point. We're actually going to go ahead and take some armor though. 10 armor, 40% damage reduction, almost 60% chance to dodge. Okay, so this is what I mean when I said if you get to these late waves on Mutant, even if you get past wave 11, in my opinion, you're almost invincible at that point. We'll reroll one more time. Okay, nothing of note. Maybe Lost Duck is really nice though. Getting some luck on Mutant is always really good for your chances, increasing your odds to find high tier upgrades when you level up. and we definitely do a lot of leveling up on this character. And our max damage was 282 a little bit ago, is now at 340. What was it? It's hard to see. Let's see, 346. So if you took a guess a few waves ago, I hope you're keeping track of your guess. And we can find out how much we deal at the end of the game, end of the run. Just run through enemies. At this point, we're so tanky, it's probably not realistic for us to get killed by anything. So we can even run through these huge mobs of enemies without really being scared of dying. Has thanks to the 10 armor and the nearly capped dodge chance. Plus 70 max HP, of course. Also helps. Skip that. Skip this. We do not want to take anything gives us damage percent or attack speed. We have an abundance of both of these. However, we do want more crit chance, right? Exactly what we're looking for. More melee damage, more lifesteal. Use our dangerous bunny reroll, and cap out our dodge maybe? No, I don't want to buy this actually. I don't want to lose the armor. 10 armor is a nice little, it's a nice pretty number, right? On the other hand, little muscly dude is very welcome in our inventory. Another one. The damage on our tier 4 weapon is 182 currently, and then 111 on these. So yeah, we're doing quite well for ourselves. You can see our weapons aren't really upgraded. That is super normal. Don't worry about it. It's almost impossible to fully upgrade your weapons on Mutant. That is not the point of the character. The point is you get a lot of high value upgrades. So I'd say getting luck on this character is really, really important. The more luck you have, the higher chance you have to find higher tier upgrades. And since you level up so much, in our case, this specific run, we have leveled up to level 37. That means we've gotten higher chances of finding higher tier upgrades on 37 separate upgrades. That is a big deal. Okay, we're just gonna go ahead and keep running through all the enemies. Run towards the buffers and kill them. Make sure they don't cause us any issues. And then sort of just move into the clumps of enemies to try to clear more where the wave ends, and it's over. Easy peasy. We don't need any of this. We can reroll. Again, none of this. None of these. And this is perfect. This is exactly what we wanted. We're at 96% crit chance. And we can take a bit of speed to get 15% speed. And now our weapons have 99% chance to crit. Almost 100. We just need one more percent and we will be there. Wow, okay. This is one of the most ridiculous items you could hope to get on Mutant. Plus 20 melee damage on this when you have this much damage percent, attack speed, and capped crit rate, right? So yeah, and same thing for Black Belt. Black Belt is extremely good. XP gain, melee damage, and knockback is completely fine. Not necessary, but you know, it's something they put on the Black Belt recently when they changed the stats on it a little bit. You can see I've kind of stopped bothering to dodge. There's certain characters where you become so ridiculously strong and overstated at some point that you really don't need to be afraid of anything anymore. And this is one of those characters. If you get into the middle waves, I think I said once you get to wave 9, right? Once you get to the small horde, the run is, I'd say, pretty much over. You just have to always be a little bit cautious, but you're definitely very unlikely to lose if you can make it to wave 9 successfully. I'm just trying to kill as many enemies as possible. No specific order or reason, just moving towards the bigger clumps. And Sift, I actually don't know how to pronounce this. I'm definitely going to take this because I love being able to attract materials. It's not necessarily useful. The 3 armor is super unnecessary. It's probably better to just recycle, but I'm definitely taking it out of my respect for being able to magnetize things. And I will actually take this crit. We're at 101 crit. We're completely capped out now. We'll go ahead and buy a black belt, XP gain, melee damage, and knockback, and a defective sword, max health, and melee damage. If we can't afford this, it's completely fine. I'm not too worried about it. If we can buy these two, for example, though. Plus 15% damage here. uh, with some knockback, so it'd actually be 20% damage, and this would give us a ton of base damage. And interestingly, you could even see why having a tier 1 later in the run doesn't really matter, a tier 1 weapon I mean, because even your tier 1 weapon becomes ridiculously strong when you have this much attack speed, crit chance, damage, and melee damage. Like, you have so many damage stats that even these little tier 1 flint, ghost flint, and tier 1 ghost axe end up doing 300 per auto, right? 300 per attack. So this is probably by far the most ridiculous damage you guys have seen so far in any of the runs. At least weapon-wise. You can see my weapons are just ridiculously overstated at this point. I'm doing more damage than the enemies have with one single hit, right? You can see I one-shot that armored berserker, one-shot that armored berserker. So yeah, they don't really stand much of a chance anymore. And then here we have capped crit. We don't really need anything in particular, so we'll just go for dodge because we're missing 3% dodge. Let's go ahead and take 12% dodge. Why not? And reroll a little bit. Reroll, reroll, reroll. Let's share more max HP just for fun, and then get the mammoth just to top it off because we certainly need more damage, right? You know, 500 per hit is not enough. Let's go ahead and get some more. And reroll this, and that's the run. Lumberjack shirt, why not? Let's put on our shirt for the last, the final wave. Let's see how long this takes. Okay, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 seconds to kill one boss. And that is when we were only hitting him in specific. 10 seconds for one boss, and I think that was, what, 7 seconds for the other boss? So it took about 7 seconds to 100-0 a boss. And yeah, that is the mutant, guys. I hope you enjoyed. You can look at the stats really quickly if we have anything here. The tentacle, 191 healing. The dangerous bunny, 87 material saved. And that is all, because we don't have many items, right? That's how the mutant plays. Items are very expensive. Leveling up is super efficient, though, okay? And we did also unlock the baby. This is a new character that they added recently. So now you can see, I have not played him yet. I just unlocked him. But yeah, next run we will be playing the Generalist, okay? I hope you guys look forward to it. And yeah, if you have any questions, comments, please leave them below. If you like the video, please leave a like and subscribe, okay? Goodbye, goodbye. Bye-bye.